With the help of Hashem, we are learning Brachas Daf Chavav. We are continuing with the sugya of Keli b'toich Keli, that if there is a Sefer Torah or Tefillin in the room, one may not have relations with one's wife unless the above holy articles are placed in a Keli, within another Keli, the double wrapper, the double cover. We're going to start today learning an opinion, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, that holds that regarding a Sefer Torah, this is not enough. We'll see what he says one needs to do. We're going to go back and learn more about the need to distance oneself from urine or from tzaya in order to be able to read the Shema or the Shemona Esrei. We're going to go back to some prate dinim of Tfilas Ezra 4a Bal Keri, and God willing, we're going to start the fourth chapter, Tfilas HaShachar. We're going to learn about what's Mincha Gedola, what's Mincha Ketana, what's Plag HaMincha. We're going to learn the entire sugya of tashlumin, of compensating or compensation, that if a person lost one of the tefillos of Shemona Esrei, the person didn't daven Shacharis or Mincha or Ma'ariv, that one may compensate that Shemona Esrei in the next tefillah. We're going to learn that the compensation prayer is the add-on, is the second one and not the first one. We're going to have a gavaldike machloikas and daf chavav amud beis as to what's the origin of the prayers every day, whether it's tefillos avos tiknum or whether the tefillos are instituted by the sages to replace the avodah in the Beis Hamikdash. And we're going to learn regarding the avodah of the Beis Hamikdash, the Talmud shel Shachar, the Talmud shel Ben Harabayim, that we have a machloikas tanoim, until when can each Talmud be brought, and that will mirror itself in the machloikas we have in our Mishnah as to until when can the tefillah of Shacharis and until when can the tefillah of Mincha be recited. With that, let us start on Daf Chavav Amud Aleph. We're mamish on the top line of the Amud. As we mentioned in the intro that we had on Daf Chafei Amud Beis, Abaye, the sugya that tells us the din of Keli b'toich Keli. All right, we have the sheet of Abaye, we have the sheet of Rava, but they are all based on the need of putting a Sefer Torah and a Tefillin in one Keli within another Keli, and that will suffice. And Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, and according to many of the Rishonim, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi is arguing with all of the above opinions, and he holds that regarding a Sefer Torah, a Keli b'toich Keli is not enough. Tzarech lasis loy mechitza asara. You have to have a mechitza that's at least 10 tfachim high, and by the way, it has to be at least 4 tfachim wide in order for the Sefer Torah to be considered that it is in a different room. Because if it is in the same room, even a Keli b'toich Keli is not enough. Let's look inside the top Tosfos. Sefer Torah oisoloi mechitza. Says Tosfos that v'dafke Sefer Torah, that the chumrah of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi is only on the Sefer Torah and not on the Tefillin. And then Tosfos adds v'gam b'chumashim yesh lahachmir kamei b'Sefer Torah. In other words, when we learned before of putting a sheet over a closet, over a bookshelf, over a cabinet, that's only good for other svarim aside of chumashim. Chumashim, our chumashim. It's not parchment, ink on parchment of 5 chamisha chumshei Torah. That it also has, because it's the chumash, even though it's printed, according to Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, it has to be, so to say, in a separate room. Back inside the Gemara. Marzutra ikla lebei Ravashi. Marzutra visited the house of Ravashi, and Chazia leduchte, and he saw the room, meaning the bedroom of one of Ravashi's sons, of Mar Baravashi, who was married, and he lived in the home of his father, and the Manach Bei Sefer Torah, and in the room there was a Sefer Torah, and va'avid lei mechitza sara, and indeed he put in his room a mechitza. Behind the mechitza was the Sefer Torah. Amar lei Marzutra tells Ravashi, come on, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Well, evidently you are following Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, but it's not good enough. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, that a mechitza is taka better than the kiss b'toich kiss, and it's enough for a Sefer Torah. That's only the leis beis achrina. That's only if you have no other option. You have no other home, which also can mean another room. You have no other room. A side room is better. By the way, there's so many dinim in Shulchan Aruch. On top of the room of a Beis Medrash, it's not good. A side room, a different house is good. And if you don't have such an option, then you can put a mechitza. But you master, you Ravashi, ha'isle beis achrina. And therefore, it's not enough that you're putting a mechitza in the room of your son Mar, So Amar Lei says Rav Ashi to Mar Zutra lav adatoi. I didn't think of that. In other words, I'm happy you're telling me that. I thought that a mechitza is ala chatchila dikadin. But now that you're telling me that, I acquiesce, ich bin moide. And indeed, the Sefer Torah has to be taken out to another home or to another room, which is on the side and not in nor above a room where a couple, or vice versa, or the couple cannot live above a beis medrash, or beis medrash cannot be above a room, and all of the shilas that you have today with many shtiblach, v'chulei, look in Shulchan Aruch, how and when is one to allow to live in the same home where you have a Sefer Torah. All right, the Gemara is referring back to the Mishnah, right? This is the Mishnah Daf Chav Beis, Amid Beis, Kama Yarchik Mehem, Mehem meaning from urine, or Umin Hatsoya, and the Mishnah said Arba Amas, correct? Daf Chav Beis, Amid Beis. So says the Gemara, Omar Rav, Omar Abscheda, Omar Afuna, Loishanu Elala Achoyrav. That when is it enough to be distanced for amas? Only if these aryams are behind the person. Avalofana, but if the tsoya or the urine is in front of the person, then marchik maloi enov, then you have to have it out of sight. Out of sight means it refers to a distance. It has to be so far away that you are unable to see it. That has to be the distance between the tsoya and the urine and the person reciting Shema or Shemona Esrei. V'chein, Shema v'chein l'tfila. Freit the Gemara Eini. From Bar Papa Amar Rab Chizda that Oymed Adam Kneged Beis HaKisei Umispalel, and the Beis HaKisei that we are referring to doesn't have walls, and the fact that you can be even Kneged, that means that you can be facing it, and it's within the distance of Malay Einov, and you could daven. How do you reconcile that? Answers the Gemara that Rav from Bar Papa Amar Rab Chizda was referring dafka to a Beis HaKisei she'ein boi tsoya. Since there is no tsoya for Amos suffices. Frek the Gemara Eini that it's not correct. For Amar Rab Yosef Bar Chanina Beis HaKisei she'amru. When did we say that you can pray in its vicinity? Afal pi she'ein boi tsoya ubeis hamerchat she'amru. That there's an issue davening in its vicinity. Whenever we speak about a beis hamerchatz, afal pi she'ein bayadam, even if there isn't any undressed person. In other words, the din of a beis hakisei is independent whether there's tsoya there or not. And now that we said that lefanav has to be kamaloi einov, again we have a contradiction. Answers the Gemara Elohache. Again here, Rav from Bar Papa is only referring to b'chadata, a bathroom that was never used before, and that's why, even though it's lefanov, even though you're seeing it, you're seeing that place because there's no walls, it is okay. This is also not a good enough answer. This is the question that Ravina asked regarding coming back to the dinim of hazmana, of mental designation. He's minil beis hakisei. So the question is mahu, and he wanted to know whether we do apply the din of zimun, and therefore since it's designated it has a din already of a beis hakisei, or ein zimun. So he has an inquiry. And l'cha'era, are you telling me that you know for sure that zimun, according to the way we are explaining it, is not effective? So the answer is the Gemara, no. The statement doesn't take away, still leaves open the place for Ravina's inquiry. Ki Ravina lemekam alei letzaloi begavei. His question of whether hazmana milsi or lav is regarding whether one is allowed to daven in that place that was designated to be a beis hakisei. Take, it was never used, but since it was designated, maybe that's the boya, you may not daven in it. Aval kenegdoi, but if you are outside of this actual space, even though there's no walls, and even though you're facing it, since it was never used, you are allowed to daven right in its vicinity, even though you're facing it. Amar Rava, Hane Bate Kisoi de Parsoi, the Persian bathrooms. If you remember, not long ago we learned about the 3 good things we should learn from the Persians, connected to their modesty, to the way they have relations, to their bathrooms. Here we have the bathrooms, and Ashi explains that the Persians, what they did is that they made a hole in the ground, and it was a very deep hole, and according to some it was a diagonal hole, to make sure that when a person relieved oneself, the tsoya is b'chlal, not only is it in the ground, it's under the ground, but it's not visible. Afal gav the is buhutsoya, even if a person already used it and one relieved oneself in it, is kisasumin damu, it's mamish considered like it is covered over, because it's in the ground and you can't even see it in the ground. And therefore what? And therefore there's a whole machlokes here in the Paiskim. Doesn't mean that you don't have to be, doesn't mean that you're not allowed to daven in there, but you can daven in close proximity, and even if there's no walls, even if you're facing it, and according to some opinions, you may even daven in there. Now, interestingly, today, the bathrooms we have today is very similar to the batik yisoy de parsoi, because today we have plumbing, today it's constantly clean, and therefore, all of the dinim of the Beis HaKisei and the distance that one has to put himself before he davens, for sure, is not shaykh to our bathrooms, because we are like the batik yisoy de parsoi. Question is, until what point? And just to mention one word, that Rabbi Shapiro, Shlita, the Rosh Yeshiva in Miami, puts out every now and then these beautiful voice notes, and he shared not that long ago that the rebbe, when he once visited the dormitories in the yeshiva when it was on Bedford and Dean in New York, he saw that the washing stations was in the same room of the bathroom. And the rebbe opined, l'chumra, he told the bachrim that they should put up a curtain to separate the washing station from the bathrooms, because you should only wash your hands in a place where you can make a bracha, an latilas yadayim. And since you can't make a bracha in that location, and that's the way we paskin, we don't make a bracha in a bathroom even today, so the rebbe felt you should not even wash your hands over there. At least not ba'ofen kavua. No, so if a person is traveling on an airplane, you're washing. Okay, yesh lohem al misha yasmeichu, to wash in there, and obviously to make the bracha outside, leave your hands a little bit wet and swish the water over your hands and make the bracha al netilas yadayim. But for sure, not ba'ofen kavua, we are at least machmer not to wash your hands, is chabad, and not to say anything holy, even though our bathrooms are like the batik yisoy de parsoi. All right, moving on to the next Mishnah. The truth is, we already had this Mishnah quoted above, so this is a great opportunity to do some chazara. The Mishnah goes back to the din of Tefillas Ezra for a Baal Keri, and here the Mishnah is going to quote the machlokes Chachamim and Rabbi Yehuda. What will happen if there is a person that has what we will call a tumah chamura, for which the mikvah, that is enough to take away the tumas Baal Keri, won't resolve, whether they also are obligated for saying the words of Torah, and in extension for davening, for saying the Shema. Do they still have to do Tefillas Ezra at the time when people still were doing, when they were obligated to do Tefillas Ezra, or do we say that Tana of Rabbi Yehuda, that in the case where the person has an even greater amount of Tumah, since the mikvah is not resolving the Tumah Chamura, so Lechatchila Ezra there did not oblige the person to Toivon. Says the Holy Mishnah, Azov is a person who has an unnatural seminal emission, not once but at least twice, either on the same day or on 2 consecutive days. And this Zov has to count 7 clean days. And afterwards he has to go into a Mayon to remove his Tumah. So if he's already a Zov, and now during the days before he became completely tar, he saw a Keri. Now, how this relates to the counting of the 7 days, we learned that in Nida, we learned that in the last Masechta. Here, the point is that even if he's going to go to the mikvah to take away Tumas Baal Keri, he's not going to become tar from Tumas Zav. Or, similarly, by a woman, she's already a Nida, and after she's a Nida, Shapalta Shichva Zera, she had a relation with her husband. And then she becomes a Nida afterwards. And afterwards, some of the Zera left her body. Or the third case in the Mishnah, and we'll use this case and we'll apply the similar scenario to a man, as the Gemara will speak out. If first she was mishameshes, first she had a relation with her husband, and b'chlal, when a woman has a relation with her husband, right? If there was chitzah zera, as there normally is, then she also right away becomes tamei like him. All right. So she has the tumah of a baal askeri, for which, again, when you have to, according to Ezra, Latakonas Ezra, you have to go to the mikvah for her to be allowed to say words of Torah and Shema and Shemona Esrei. And later, before she went to the mikvah, she's already mechuyev. Now, Shero Aso Nida. Now she became a Nida as well. And again, going to the mikvah won't help for her Tumas Nida. Not that the Nida has to go to a Mayan, but in order for a Nida to go to the mikvah, either it has to be at least 7 days after she saw the beginning of her period. Or if she's during her 11 days of zivus, she has to have noch shivas nikiyim. Or like rabbizajac says that nowadays b'nai Yisrael echminu al atzman, that whenever they see any amount of dam, they already take upon themselves all of the chumras, both of nida, of going to the mikvah dafka at night, and of ziva, of first having to count 7 days. Bottom line is, she doesn't have the 7 days. She doesn't have at least 7 days from the beginning, from the ra'asa nida. So the Tanach holds it makes no difference, even though she has a high level of tumah. As far as Tefillas Ezra is concerned, Srichem Tefilla, they all need Tefilla. However, the Tana Rabbi Yehuda says, as we explained, since anyways they have a greater amount of Tumah, Lechatchila Ezra was not misakin on such a scenario for them to go to the mikvah, and therefore poiter. Now, the Mishnah gave 2 cases for the woman. It only gave 1 case to the man. It gave a case where first the man already was a zav. He's already tamei. He's mechoyev to do certain things in order to purify himself. And then he became a balkedi. Rabbi Yehuda was fighter. What's going to happen by a man if first he became a balkedi, and then before he went to the mikvah, shara azivam? In other words, do we say, Mela, when he was already tamei and mechoyev to go to the mikvah, there is where Ezra lachatchila did not oblige this man to take away tumas keri in order to say words of Torah. But maybe in a case where first he saw a keri, he's a bal keri. In other words, the chiyuv of Ezra was already chal on him. So are we going to say that just because he became a zav, what will be the logic there? So the greater tumas to take away an obligation that was already there? Maybe not. Mao, maybe keep pater Rabbi Yehuda only Hassan bezav when shira'a keri, a zav, already a zav who later saw a keri, since the mi'ikara lavbar tfilahu. In other words, right now, because of the tumas of zivus, now we can't go to the mikvah. The mikvah now, if he doesn't have shivas nikiyim, or if the mikvah by a zav is not a mayan, it wouldn't work. There is where Rabbi Yehuda says that now becoming a balkeri is not machayev him to do tefillas Ezra. Aval balkeri, shira'a ziva, first he's a balkeni and then he became a zav. Maybe since the meikara he's already a bar tfilahu, so he's still machayev. Says the Gemara, the answer will be from the Sefer of our Mishnah. Tashma, in our Mishnah we say Amisha Meshes, the woman who first had a relation with her husband, and therefore she has to go to the mikvah, as because of Tefillah Ezra. And then V'ro Asanida, likewise Tzricha Tefillah and Rabbi Yehuda Poiter. And here by the woman V'hamisha Meshes, V'ro Asanida is mamish like a balkeri shira ziva damya. First there was a chiyuv Tefillah Ezra, and only later did she become imbued with this Tumah Chamura. And nevertheless, V'kapat Rabbi Yehuda, so Shma Mina, the same case will be by the man, by a Balkeri, that later became a Zav. And indeed, concludes our Pedic, concludes the Gemara, Tana Rabbi Chia learned at Braisa, Behedya, that spoke out this case clearly, Befedish, that Balkeri, Shara Aziva, Tzarech, Tefillah, that's the Tanakama, that's the Chachamim. And here also, Rabbi Yehuda, Poiten, Gevaldik, and with this we say, Hadron Allah Mishamesu, God willing, we'll come back to you the 3rd chapter, and let us start, Perek Revi, right, Tfilas HaShachar, the 4th chapter of Brachas. Now, even though we learned above that the preferred time for davening, and therefore an extension, or L'chatchila on both Shema and Shemona Esrei should be said at sunrise time. And by the way, there is a machlokes how to learn that link. In other words, is it that Shachar should be said at sunrise, and because of the smichos gula l'tefillah, so in extension, Shema should be said shortly before sunrise, or is the inyan lechatchil on both, sai Shema and the Shemona Esrei, and of course Shema before the Shemona Esrei to be samich geula, and then tefillah should be said at sunrise. That's the lechatchila dik time. However, Shemona Esrei couldn't be said until a later point. Right? So the question is, Tfilas HaShachar, what will be the end time for davening Shachris? Interestingly, the Mishnah is not asking the beginning time of Shachris, and this becomes obvious since the Tfilos were enacted. At least we'll see there's a machlokes about it. But the Tfilos, let's go with that, they were enacted to be in the place of the Karbanos Tamid that is brought every day, twice a day, b'shachar ubein ho'arbayim, and being that the Talmud is brought as of alois, as we just learned at the end of Kachim, so therefore the beginning time of Shachris, the Mishnah doesn't have to mention, is from alois. Question is, and again, that's not, then you're not doing the vosikin. Okay, not for the vosikin. But until when? Machlokes tanoim. Tfilas hashachar at chatzois, until noon. Until halachic noon. Halachic noon means, shazmaniyos, you take the day, you divide it into 12, no matter how long or how short the day is, middle of the day. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, no, ad dalet shois, until 4 hours. 4 hours shazmaniyos. Question will be that the Gemara is going to ask that when Rabbi Yehuda says ad ve'ad bechlal, or ad ve'loyad bechlal, right? Until and included. Until and included means until the end of the 4th hour, or only until the end of the 3rd hour, and then it would be that the end of the Zman, Rabbi Yehuda, of Shachris is mamish like the end of the Zman of Shema. That we'll see in the Gemara. And what will be gavaldik is that the same machlokes they have here, the same machlokes they have in the Beis HaMikdash. And it fits. Until when can you bring the Talmud Shal Shachar? The Chachamim l'shitasam and Rabbi Yehuda l'shitasai. Tfilas hamincha. Here also the Mishnah is not asking from when. The Mishnah is only asking until when. So the Chachamim hold ad ha'erev, until night. Now what we have, Rashi, look inside the first Rashi in the Mishnah. Tfilas hashachar ad ha'erev ad chashecha. Rashi says until tzeis. Other Rishonim say until shkia. Rashi says until tzeis hakechava, up to late mincha. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, no, ad plag hamincha, until the halftime of mincha. We'll learn in the Gemara how to cheshbon this halftime of mincha, and here again we'll have to understand what is the ad ve'ad bechlal, ad ve'loyad bechlal, but it's certainly a earlier time than the Chachamim, as Rabbi Yehuda in the Reisha also holds that the end of Shachris is until an earlier, has a smaller amount of Zman. Tefilla so erev, ma'ariv, ein lo keva, has no fixed time. In other words, the entire night. The shel musafim. Now, even though musaf is davened before ma'ariv, but we're going through tadir, and then v'she'eno tadir every day, 3 times a day. Then on certain days we have the musaf again. Machlokes Tanakama and Rabbi Yehuda. So the Tanakama says the Chachamim say kol hayom, the entire day. Now the last line in the Mishnah, there is a machlokes in Girsa'os, whether this is in the Mishnah or whether this is in a Braisa. So we have it here printed with a parenthesis. Rabbi Yehuda Omer ad zayin sha'os. Now here again, until the 7th hour ad ve'ad bechlal, which means an hour until an hour after Chatzos, or ad v'loyad bechlal, which then would mean more or less ad, not more or less, then it would mean ad Chatzos. Okay, and all of that will be clarified in the Gemara exactly. Shitas Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, the Mishnah began, right, that Shachris may be davened until a few hours into the day. We learned a Braisa, that mitzvasa is in reference to the Shema, but hold on, that the mitzvah is iman neitzachama, together with sunrise. And why is that? And since you're saying when you daven Shema with sunrise, v'nimtza mispalal bayoim means you'll daven Shachris by sunrise. So that implies that the Zman of Tefillah Shachris is im haneitzachama, not al Chatzos. Answers the Gemara, the Braisa that we just quoted is, we're not going to use the words lechatchila because this is more than a lechatchila. That dakitanya hi livasikin, Rashi touched above, b'chavavei mitzvah, to the diligent ones, they taka daven with sunrise. But our Mishnah is speaking about until what time you can daven Shachris. The Amar Rabbi Yechanan vasikin hoyo goymenim oisa, they would finish the Shema im haneitzacham. And our Mishnah is nan vasikin at Chatzos. Frek the Gemara v'kula alma at Chatzos. It's only until midday. No, but v'kula alma means even Rabbi Yehuda has a greater limit, Everyone agrees, not after Chatzos. V'suloi, v'ha'omar Rav Mari b'rei de Rav Huna. This is the first widest line. Here we are introducing the din of tashlumin, of compensation prayers. That if a person erred, this is not amazing, very important, but there is a less than amazing. We'll see to what level. And the person did not daven ma'ariv. So then, mispalal shachris shtayim. Then shachris you daven tu shmona esreis. And more details on Amud Beis. Now hold on. We're going to have shortly the famous Gemara speaking about tefillas arvis, whether it is a chayva or a reshus. So asks Tosfos, right? The second to last Tosfos. We're going to learn that Chavzayin Amud Beis tefillas arvis is reshus. So Tosfos is asking, Mela, if it's a chayva and I made a mistake, so there's a din that I can compensate for my chayva. If the whole davening is only, so to say, optional, then why are we having a compensation for something that's not obligatory? And let's go down a few lines in Tosfos. In the middle of Tosfos, the Shloim Merkava, this is so important. There's a machlokes rishonim how to taich reshus regarding arvis, and Tosfos is of a very stringent opinion. The Yeshlemer that ha the Amrina and the tefillas arvis reshus hainu legabe mitzvah acheres. That if there is another mitzvah, and that other mitzvah is oiveres, the oz Amrina that titcha tefillas arvis mi paneha. If you have to pick and choose between two mitzvahs, arvis is relative to another mitzvah considered a reshus. Avol lechinam ein lo levatla. There's many levels of reshus. There's different ways of understanding reshus. Here, reshus means it's not as great as a chiyuv as another chayva, but there is an obligation to daven ma'ariv, and therefore that shitas Tosfos and this whole sugya of ma'ariv, as we'll get into it, that it is an obligation, even if it's a reshus. It's enough obligation that you have to compensate, and therefore you compensate. Back inside this quotation. Right from Rabbi Yochanan. Shachris, if a person missed Shachris, mispalal b'mincha shtayim. So it's a very interesting havamina here. The Gemara really is asking, based on the premise, but by the fact that you can daven even a tashlumin Shachris in the afternoon, does that not, so to say, to a certain degree, imply that Shachris can be davened the whole day? At least as a tashlumin prayer. Here the Mishnah is saying at chatzos. So says the Gemara like this: Kula yoyma matzlava azil. You're right. If you missed until chatzos ta'ah, then you can still daven that shmona esrei for the rest of the day. However, at chatzos yohavi leischar tefilla bizmana. To get the tefillah bizmana, the zman is until chatzos, lachachamim, la Rabbi Yehuda, until the end of the fourth hour. We'll see. That's the conclusion. Until the end of the fourth hour. Mekan ve'elach. But after chatzos, and we're calling this a tashlumin shmona esrei, a compensation prayer. Schar tefillah yahavalei. However, schar tefillah bizmana loy yahavalei. You davened after the zman. Okay, weiter. Now, we quoted Rabbi Yochanan, and interestingly, Rabbi Yochanan only spoke about a case where you're making up the tashlumin. On the same halachic day, he spoke about you missed ma'ariv, ta'ah, you missed ma'ariv, you daven shachris. Ta'ah shachris, you can daven in the afternoon. What happens if you missed mincha? Here, if you could compensate mincha, you're compensating mincha in the next halachic day, which is at night. And the Gemara speaks out the question, Im tim soleimer tovel ispalo arvis, takem ispalo shachris beis. You know why? Mishum the chad yoimuhu, because it is in the same halachic day, dichsiv, as it says, and here we have for the second time in brachas, the pasuk that we have in the beginning of Bereshis, vayihi erev, vayihi boiker yoim echad. Aval hacha, but over here, if you missed mincha, tefillah b'makim karbani. And since, as we'll learn in Amud Beis, tefillahs, our shmona esreis are connected to a certain degree to compensate for the karbanos, and by karbanos we have a rule, the kiven the avar yoimai batal karbanai. So therefore you should not be able to compensate mincha by davening ma'ariv twice, Oidilma, kivin ditzaloisa rachmehi. Again, we have this concept that davening is an act of asking for rachmanis. So kolem is the boya, matzle v'azl. Right, as we had before, nach Rabbi Yochanan, the way Rashi learned it, ulavai sheyispalal kol hayom kulei, not even by making it into a tefillas nadav. This is the kasha, this is the boya the Gemara has. Before we learn the answer, the final tosfos, these are packed dafim. It says that oy bazoi. The Gemara's question is only regarding you missed mincha. But when again Musav zok tosfos vadai, I'm reading inside a few lines into tosfos. Eina mispalal ba'arvis. Because the eich yikra es hakorbanos of Musav, by making up another Shmoneh Esrei b'tzmaitiv, ukfar otel zman Musav. Gavaldik. And by Musav is not rachmei. Musav is only because uneshalma parim sifoseinu, that we pay for the karbanos, for the parim with our lips, which is through tefillah. So tosfos ubazev vadai over zmani batel karbani. Aval shar tefillas derachmininu, and again he's quoting here the Rabbi Yochanan ulavai sheispal adam kolayim kulay the ein kan over zmani with tefillas acheres. So the Gemara has an inquiry. So back inside the Gemara, a few lines from the bottom. So Tashema to Amar Afuna b'rei Rav Yehuda. To Amar Afuna bar Yehuda, Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Ta'av lo yispalel mincha, mispalel arvis beis. Yes, you daven might have twice. And ve'ein bozeh, mishum the avar yomoi, batal karbonoi. Gevaldik. Meisvein. Now truth be told, in the Beis HaMikdash, the night does come after the day. In the Beis HaMikdash, the Seder is not Vayi Erev Vayi Boker. True, if the Zrikas Adam was not done until Shkia, you may never offer a korban initially at night, but there is a certain connection from the night to the day prior. And maybe that's the pshat, that there's no Avar Yomai, Batal Korbanai, or not. Okay, Meisvei, Frekti Gemara B'chlal, and this whole notion of a compensation tefillah, of tefillas tashlumin, we learn in a braisa. The braisa is interpreting the pasuk that we have in Koheles. Says Shlomo HaMelech that there is a me'uves lo yuchal liskain. There's the twisted thing that cannot be made straight. And continuing quoting the pasuk, v'chesron lo yuchal lihimanois, that which is missing cannot be numbered. What does that refer to? Taiches the braisa me'uves lo yuchal liskain zeh shebitel kriya shma shel arvis, or if a person was mevatel kriya shma shel shachris, can't make it up. Likewise, oy tefillah shel arvis, oy tefillah shel shachris, that it's lo yuchal liskain. You can't fix it. Here we're giving a tikkun, tashlumin. But before we conclude, let's finish the braisa, explaining, interpreting the latter part of the verse. The chesron liyuchal imanois refers that shenimnu chaver ledvar mitzvah. If everyone is being counted to do a mitzvah is being done in group, and you are asked to join v'loy nimna imam, and you're not part of the group, that's a chesron liyuchal imanois. But going back, if he explains the me'uvas liyuchal liskain, that you can't make up a tefillah, you can't make up a shema, you have tashlumin. Answers the Gemara very importantly. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, the last line in the Amud. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Hacha b'mayaskinan. What does this brisa refer to? Shebitel b'mezid. If b'mezid you didn't daven, you can't compensate for it. If b'mezid you didn't say Shema, you cannot compensate for it. And Amar Ravashi daikanami, because the words that we have in the brisa is bitel, and not like we quoted Rabbi Yochanan, always using the words ta'ah. Indeed, Shema Mina, if it was b'mezid, you can't make it up. If it wasn't a b'mezid, then there is tashlumim. Now, Gevaldik, according to the way we're learning the Pashup Pshat in the Gemara, the Braisa put together not only compensation for davening, the Braisa also spoke about compensation for Kriya Shema. And indeed, even in the Shulchan Aruch, there's two opinions. But both of the opinions are brought down on Shulchan Aruch. According to some opinions, just like you can make a tashlumin for Shmoneh Esrei, you can make a tashlumin for the Shema. Other opinions say no, that tashlumin is only for Shmoneh Esrei and not for Shema. And we'll speak about this at another opportunity of what is the underlying of this machlokes. Let's turn to Daf Chavav Amud Beis. More on Tfilas Tashlumin. Says the Gemara, Tanach Rabbanan, we learned in a Brais. Here we're moving on. Not only before we spoke about making a tefillas tashlumim on another halachic day, that we could do it. Here we're adding another detail to tashlumim. Not only is it another halachic day, but the nusach hatfila is not the same. Weekday to Shabbos, or Shabbos to weekday. Oh, now what's going to be gavaldik? We just learned on the Achaf Aleph, according to the Gemara, that really Shabbos, the Shmoyna Esrei, should have been Shmoyna Esrei. The Chachamim, because of Shabbos, did not want to give us the tircha of saying such a long Shmoyna Esrei, and therefore they made as a me'ein. They made a tefillah zayin, not a me'ein. They added the 3 in the beginning, the 3 at the end are the same, and then the middle tefillah is connected to the Kedushas Hayoim. But that will give us a better understanding into this brayso. Since theoretically Shabbos, the Shabbos Dika Shmoyna Esrei should have been the same, so indeed one does compensate whether you're going from the weekday into Shabbos or from Shabbos into a weekday. You missed mincha of Shabbos. Ta'am zok de brayso mispalel beleil Shabbos shtayim, and you say the nusach of Shabbos. But the second Shmoyna Esrei will be for the one that you missed. Likewise, Ta'av v'lo mincha b'Shabbos. And the next tefillah is Matzah Shabbos Dika, which is a weekday Ma'ariv. Mispalel b'Matzah Shabbos, Shtayim shel Choil. And here, a very important halacha. You're making 2 Shmoyna Esreis. Which one is the one for the current tefillah? Which one is the compensation tefillah? And how will we see this? That's why we're using this as an example, because Motzei Shabbos, aside of us making Havdalah ala Kois, we also say the words of Havdalah in the Shmoyna Esrei, Ato Chainan Tanum, right in the 4th brach of Chainan Adoas. So says the Braisa Mavdil. But the first Shmoyna Esrei is of the current tefillah of Ma'ariv, and in it you should say Atachin Antanu ve'eino mavdol b'shniya. As a klal, the compensation davening is the add-on, is the second one, not the first one. And furthermore, says the Braisa ve'im hivdol b'shniya v'lo hivdol b'rashayna. If you flipped it, shniya also, like the second Shmoyna Esrei was taka good, because it's good for Ma'ariv, and the Shoina also the first one is not good at all. End of Bryce. Frekti Gemara, hold on. Lememra, are you telling me why is it not good at all? Because you didn't say Atechin Antanu in there. So let's put aside Tfilas Tashlomim. Person daven Mincha Shabbos. Now it's Motzei Shabbos. The person daven Ma'ariv. If the person forgot to say Atechin Antanu, is their tefillah not valid at all? Loi also loi. Remember the kivan the le'avlo b'kamaisa command the loitzali dami umahadrin aleim. We make him repeat the Shmoyna Esrei. No, v'rimino we learned in a brayso that ta'av lehisked gvuras kashama b'tchias hameisim. If during the winter months you forgot to say mashu v'roch hamarid geshem, or She'ela, you forgot to ask for the saying tal matar livracha bebirchas hashanim. There the din is that machzir noisa, you have to go back and say the Shmoyna Esrei. But if you forgot to mention havdalah b'chein and hadas, says the Braisa, ein machzir noisa. Why? Mepnei sheyachal amri ala kois. So this contradicts the Braisa that says that im hivdil b'shniya v'loy hivdil b'rishayna shniya also loy rishayna loy also loy. Indeed, says the Gemara kashem. And here it's good to speak out here for the first time that whenever we're going to learn in the Gemara the word kasha versus the word tiyuftam, as the Rashbam speaks out, and so do many Rishonim, kasha is not refuted. Kasha means you have a kasha, but the kasha has an answer. And what would be the answer? It's not the greatest answer. The Gemara doesn't write it down. The answer would be when a person daven Shmoyna Esrei and they simply forgot to say Atachin Antanu, also loy. But when a person is davening 2 Shmoyna Esreis and one is for Tashlumin, being that the din of Tashlumin is the Tashlumin Dika Tefilla Dafke is the second one, this person was Megala Das that the first one is the Tashlumin V'haraya, that they didn't forget to say Atachin Antanu. They said it, but they said it in the second. The first one, they said it without Atachin Antanu. That means that their kavana, when they davened the first Shmoyna Esrei, was this one should be for Mincha. That's why loy also loy. Loy also loy, because you had in mind to daven Mincha. It's not mincha. The Shemona Esrei that you're davening after Gol Yisrael and Hashkivenu, that Shemona Esrei is dafka maidiv. That's why loy also loy. Which would mean that you're going to end up saying 3 Shemona Esreis. Because the first one, Bechlal, didn't count. The second one was the one that you said, Atechin Antonu. Now you didn't daven mincha, you have to do a tashlumim. The tashlumim is dafka, the add-on. So you say a 3rd Shemona Esrei. Says the Gemara Vaiti Itmer, we learned. Wow, look at this machlokes. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Chanina, Omar, Tfilois, Avos, Tiknum. The Tfilois were instituted by our patriarchs. And however, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Omar, Tfilois, Keneget, Tmidim, Tiknun, that they were instituted to be in the place of the daily carbon Talmud. Actually, there is other shitas, there's a Midrash, going back to the Tanoim, that say that the first ones that formulated the Shemona Esrei were the Malachim, that when Avram Avinu was saved from the Kivshona Eish Vayur Kazdim, the Malachim told God Almighty, Berachot Hashem again Avram. When Yitzchak was not actually offered as in the Akedah, then the Malachim told Hashem, Berachot Hashem, Chaya HaMesim, especially according to the Shitas that his neshama left his body. When the Yaakov Avinu had the dream, Parshas Vayetze, the Malachim said, Berachot Hashem, okay, LaKodesh. When Yosef HaTzadik was taught by the Malach the night before he met Parei, all of the 70 languages, Chorin Ados, and Gavaldik Medrash going through the whole Shemona Esrei. One doesn't contradict the other. But here in the Gemara we're bringing either the Ikir was from the patriarchs or was it the Chachamim. And we'll see later in the Gemara how at least the Gemara explicitly speaks out that you can reconcile at least one way these 2 shitas. Weiter Tanya, Kavasi Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Chanina, the Tanya Kavasi Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Tanya Kavasi Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Chanina, that says that what? That Tefilla is always tiknum. We already spoke out that in Yiddish we say davening. Davening means de'avuhain fakert. We are calling the prayer to remember with the word that this comes from our patriarchs. Avram tikein tefillah shachris. Avram instituted tefillah shachris. Says the Marsha, make no mistake, being that we're going to learn in the Gemara that Avram Avinu kept all of the mitzvahs, even the rabbinic mitzvahs. Avad Avram Avinu, if that's the case, daven mincha, daven maidiv. Question is, what was his ikir tefillah? So the Tefillah Shachris is primarily connected to Avram Avinu. And where do we find that in the Torah? Shneimar, as it says in Vayera, Vayashkem Avram Baboiker, El Amokim Asher Amatsham, to the place that he stood there, and the word standing, Ve'ein Amida Elo Tefillah, Shneimar, as it says, Vayamoid, Pinchas, Vayefalel, Vaytehilim. Oh, Yitzchak, so you have that's the source that Avram Avinu stood daven shachris. Yitzchak tikein tefillas mincha shneimar, as it says, this is a pasuk in Chayei Soda, Vayetze Yitzchak lo suach basoda, he went to speak in the field, lifnei sodav, towards the evening, in the afternoon. Ve'ein sicha elo tefillah shneimar, as it says again a parai from Tehillim Tefilla Yonik Yatov, v'lifnei Hashem yishpoich sichai, that he pours forth his speech. And that's in reference to Tefillah. Yaakov Tiken Tefillas Arve Shenemer, as it says in Vayetze, Vayivka B'Mokim, that he encountered the place. The whole concept of Kvitzas HaDerech, really there are 2 levels of Kvitzas HaDerech. The Rebbe speaks about it Gevaldik, putting together different Lashonos by, in other words, are you jumping, or is the earth jumping? And there it is, Vayivka B'Mokim, the Rebbe is Medayik from Lashonos over there, that he encountered the place, that the place moved towards him. Vayalan Sham, and he slept there. And the word Vayivka, says the Gemara, Ve'en Pia El Tefillah, Shenemar, Pasuk in Yirmiyahu, Va'ata al Tispalel Ba'adam Amazeh, V'al Tisa Ba'adam Rina V'Tefillah, Va'al Tivka Bi, don't entreat me. And there clearly, Va'ata al Tispalel, it's another lashon of Tefillah. So all of this is a raya that the Avis were the ones that they instituted each davening at its time, Shachris, Mincha, Maidiv. And all of these are connected to the Midos of the Avis, Chesed, Gevura, and the concept of Tiferes, which is connected dafka to night. You know, as we learned especially before, night is the time that we put together, there's din until Chatzos, and then there's a Gevaldik amount of Chesed or Rachamim, Rachamim as of Chatzois V'Tanya. We learned, Rabbi Shua ben Levi, that it is b'makim atamid. Pnei ma'omru tfilas hashachas at Chatzois. He explains the machloikis that we have in our Mishnah. At the end time, Sai of Shachris and Sai of Mincha. Between the Chachamim and Rabbi Yehuda, that this mamish mirrors the same machlokes they have regarding the time of the Karban Nois Tamid. So you see, one is connected to the other. That mipnei ma'omru tfilas hashachar at Chatzois, because shaharei Tamid shol Shachar kara v'hoylech at Chatzois. And furthermore, Rabbi Yehuda Omer that Shachris is ad shois, as we'll clarify again, ad b'chlal, ad v'loy b'chlal, psharei Tamid shel Shachar kara v'hoylech ad shois. Umepnei ma'omru, the first wide line, tfilas hamincha ad ha'erev, same concept, same link. Sharei Tamid shel bein arba'im kara v'hoylech ad ha'erev. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, right, mincha goes ad plaga mincha, shaharei Tamid shel bein ha'arba'im, right, kara v'hoylech only ad plaga mincha. And then the Braisa says, "Pnei ma omru tfilas ha'erev ein lo kva or ein lo keva sharei evarim," all of the limbs, referring to the oila that is fully burnt, or the pedarim, the fats of all the karbanos, that even though that the meats are eaten either by the kahanim or by kachei kalim, also by the owners, but the chalavim, the chalavim, the pedarim are burnt on the mizbeach. If it wasn't consumed by evening, again by karbanos, the zrikas adam has to be done before shkia. And normally they would also bring up on the mizbeach the parts that have to go up. But even if they were not consumed, kedevim welcome kol halayla. So this concept of kedevim welcome halayla is kol halayla regarding Maidev. Weiter in the Braisa says, "Mepneima omru shel musafim kol hayoyim, sharei carbon shel musafim karav kol hayoyim." Again, the Chachamim lishitasam. Rabbi Yehuda that says that musaf is ad sheva shois. Weiter lishitasoi, sharei carbon musaf karav hayoylach ad sheva shois. Gewaldig. And furthermore, says the Braisa, the ezohi mincha gedoyla. Here we introduce all of these words that we are so familiar with. Mincha gedoyla means that you have the greater part of the day, the gedoyla part of the day is still remaining, is still in front of you. When is mincha gedoyla, which is from when you can daven mincha, mishei shois umechza ulamayla, from what we would call 12:30 shois maniyos, from the 6.5 hour in the day further and on. And like Rashi here says, gavaldik, just to know the taich, the words bein ha'arbayim means in between the darkenings. So night is called the darkening. The afternoon, but dafka 30 minutes after Chatzois, from when the sun is no longer directly above your head. When the sun is above your head, then the shadows are right underneath all the items. So there is no darkenings on the ground. But at least 30 minutes after Chatzois, that's when the shadows begin to darken, because it starts to move also to the sides of the items, or to the sides of the people, or whatever is giving off the shadow. So the beginning of the darkenings is 12.5. Chatzois ve'umechza. And that's the bein ha'arbayim. And then there's the night when it's dark. So within that time is when you offer the carbon tamid. Again, not midday, because the earth did not darken yet, says Rashi, but meshei shois umechza olamayla. Mincha ketana is the time. First of all, ketana means that there is a smaller amount of time in the day in front of you. And ketana is the time, Rashi brings down over here from Masechtas Pesachim, from when they actually brought, at least in most days of the year, the mincha shel bein ha'arbayim. Even though you could bring it from shei shois umachza, but they actually offered it, again, the ruba, on the 9.5 hour in the day. Let's say 3:30 p.m. shois maniyos. Means you only have 2.5 hours in the day. Now that we clarified mincha gedoyla, mincha ketana, so now we're going to clarify what does Rabbi Yehuda mean when he says plaga mincha. How great is this? Now the word plag means half of the time of mincha. Hold on. If I'm going to measure half of the time of mincha gedoyla, how long can you daven for 5.5 hours, right, from 6 hours and a half? Then half of that will be plag hamincha. Half of that will be 2 hours and 3/4 of an hour. 2 hours and 3/4 of an hour before the end of the day, Is that the meaning of plaga mincha beilu? Rabbi Yehuda plaga mincha kama ka'amar? In other words, you're making a half of mincha gedola, 5.5 divided into half, 2 3/4. Oh no, plag mincha achroina ka'amar. Which means, we're familiar with this because we know the halacha. That begin the mincha ketana. Mincha ketana to the end of the day is 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours divided into half is 1.25 hours of sha'os, zmaniyos. And that is the plaga mincha. So indeed, Tashema, the Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, plaga mincha achroina amru, and vihi yudal of shois chassidut. In other words, it's the 11th minus 1/4. In other words, it's 1.25 hours before the end of the day, shois zmaniyos. Now asks the Gemara, we learned the whole Beraisa. The Beraisa clearly is linking the Zmaniyat Tefilla with the Karbanos. So Neima, to heavy, to Yufta, the rabbiavrahamzajac that says Avos Tiknum, says the Gemara, no. Amalacha, rabbiavrahamzajac doesn't contradict one to the other. Lo'ila meimalach Tefillos Avos Tiknum. Elamai, it was instituted by the patriarchs, but va'asmichinu rabbanan ar karbanos. The patriarchs were not mechayev us. And b'chlal in the kait ha'klal b'yodecha, like the Rambam says, nothing that we do today is being done because our patriarchs did it. We are doing it because God Almighty commanded us in Sinai. And that which we are not commanded to midoraisa, subsequently, Sinai, the Torah gives the koyach to the chachamim to enact takanos and gezeros. So it's out from Sinai. Elama, it's not a contradiction. The Avos were the ones that they began davening it. But we're not mechuyev. The chachamim were mechayevos akarbanos. But therefore, what they did is they gave a hemshech to that which the Avos enacted, to that which the Avos formulated. If Rabbi Yosef ben Chanina, when he speaks about Avos Tiknum, it's to the exclusion of the link to the Karbanos, Tfilas Musaf, Rabbi Yosef ben Chanina, who was misakin it. You have Shachris min Chamayrev, where do you have Musaf? Ella Zaharayat Tfila is Avos Tiknum. Ella Ma'ava Asmichin Rabbanon Akarbanos. And now let's finish out reading the words of Rashi, right? The greatest teacher, 4 lines from the bottom. V'chi ainu b'musafim v'loy matzu tefillah kenegda is the aim for tiknua. In other words, they began Shachris min Chomayrev, but then they looked in the Beis HaMikdash, and now you have a musaf, and there you don't have the avos. Okay, so if there's no avos that was mesakein musaf, they were the ones that were mesakein musaf. Okay, let's chop on another few lines. 2 dots. When Rabbi Yehuda says ad arba shois, now the word ad, this is the big question. Ad is ad ve'ad b'chlal, loy ad v'loy ad b'chlal, until and including, or until and not including. Now, even though Rabbi Yehuda uses these words in the Mishnah 3 times, shachris, ad dalal shois, mincha, ad plaga mincha, according to the Brais, or according to the Mishnah by Musav, ad zayin shois, we want to clarify what he meant at the first time, and automatically we'll chop what he meant in all the other times. So it says the Gemara boiluhu, right? Rabbi Yehuda says ad arba shois, ad ve'ad b'chlal, oidilma ad v'loy ad b'chlal. So Tashema, look in our Mishnah, look at the Reish, look at the Seif. So when it comes to the Reish, we don't know. Maybe he means until the beginning of the 4th hour. Maybe Rabbi Yehuda means until the end of the 4th hour. But Rabbi Yehuda omer ad plaga mincha gavaldik. I omred bishleima ad v'lo yad b'chlal. The Chachamim say, what are their words that you daven ad ha'erev, zok Rashi daven mincha until tzeis. Says again other Rishonim, and we paskin until Shkia. Just Alter Rebbe writes in the Siddur that we have that we can be lenient when it comes to mincha regarding the Shkia. Not regarding, God forbid, Shabbos, regarding Tfilas Mincha. And B'chlal, the Alter Rebbe has a very unique sheet of what Shkia is, but ain't kind of welcome to speak it out. But generally, it's at least 3 minutes after the Shkia you have in your Zmanim. But over here, the last line in the Amar Hainu, the Ikebein Rabbi Yehuda l'Rabbanan. Pashut. But now this ad is based on the premise, Plaga Mincha, we already established mincha katana until shkia divided into half. Now, which half are we referring to? Are we referring to the first half, or are we referring to the second half? The Gemara's premise is based on the havamina that we are focusing on the second half. And if ad ve'ad b'chlal, that means you can daven mincha even during the second half. So when does it end according to Rabbi Yehuda? If ad ve'ad b'chlal until night. So there's no argument. Elyahu Amra ad va'ad b'chlal, Rabbi Yehuda Hainu, Rabbanan daf chav zayin. Is the charaya ad v'lo yad b'chlal? Says the Gemara, that can be. No. Elamai ad v'lo yad b'chlal. Okay, go weiter. Ema seifa v'shal musaf v'kolayim. Here Rabbi Yehuda Omer ad sheva shois. Ad, now here. If ad v'lo ad b'chlal, you know what ad sheva shois means? Until the beginning of sheva shois. What is that called? Chatzois. That can be. Because v'tanya hoy lefanav shtei tefillos. What if you didn't yet daven shachris, but it's Shabbos and there's musaf. Acha shel musaf, acha shel mincha. So you didn't daven mincha, and musaf, you didn't daven musaf, but it's already this man for mincha. So says the Tana mispalol shel mincha, v'achar kach shel musaf. And why is that? Because of the klal shezu tadira v'zu eino tadira. However, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, no, mispalol musaf v'achar kach shel mincha. Why shezu ayveres? You know, the time for musaf elapses earlier than the time of mincha. Mincha can be davened until later. Gavaldik. If ad sheva means ad v'lo yad b'chlal, then how can mincha, that only begins from mincha gedoyla, 12:30, it never overlaps with musaf at all? So then they do overlap. Then hainu de mishkachas lahu, that these two tefillos, mincha and musaf, can come out b'hadi yadada, and you have to pick which one you say first, which one you daven first. The time that mincha arrived, mincha is 12:30. Ad v'loyad b'chlal means azal Allah shal musaf, and you already passed the zman of musaf. So we're back. It must be ad v'ad b'chlal. Kasher Reisha. What's the machloikas between the Chachamim and the Rabbi Yehuda by mincha? If ad plaga mincha means ad v'ad b'chlal. Answers the Gemara, you're focusing on Plaga Mincha, the second half. No, Plaga Mincha means the first half of Plaga Mincha. And Ad Va'ad B'chlal. You can daven Mincha until, and including the first Plaga Mincha. Up until an hour and a quarter before night, before Shkia. That's how we cheshbon the Plaga Mincha. Mi savrat b'hai Plaga Mincha, Plaga Achroina ka'amar, Plaga Rishoina ka'amar, v'hachi ka'amar, emas nafik, Plaga Rishoina, v'ayel Plaga Achroina. You know when that is? Mechi nafki yudal v'shois chassidut, when it's an hour and a quarter before Shkia. That is the end of the first plag, ad va'ad. And the Chachamim say ad ha'erev, so the Chachamim are adding the other hour and a quarter, and Rashi they're adding more because they're going all the way until Shkia, until Seis, God willing, to be continued.